Navistar International Corporation is a United States-based holding company that owns the manufacturer of international brand commercial trucks, MaxxForce brand diesel engines, IC bus school and commercial buses, Workhorse brand chassis for motorhomes and step vans, and is a private label designer and manufacturer of diesel engines for the pickup truck, van and SUV markets. The company is also a provider of truck and diesel engine parts and service. Headquartered in Lisle, Illinois, Navistar has 16,500 employees and an annual revenue of $10.775 billion. The company's products, parts, and services are sold through a network of nearly 1,000 dealer outlets in the United States, Canada, Brazil, and Mexico and more than 60 dealers in 90 countries throughout the world. The company also provides financing for its customers and distributors principally through its wholly owned subsidiary, Navistar Financial Corporation. History: the merger of McCormick Harvesting Machine Company and the Deering Harvester Company in 1902 resulted in the formation of the International Harvester Company of Chicago, Illinois, which over the next three-quarters of a century evolved to become a diversified manufacturer of farming equipment, construction equipment, gas turbines, trucks, buses, and related components. During World War II, International Harvester produced the M series of military trucks that served the Marine Corps and the U.S. Navy as weapons carriers, cargo transporters and light artillery movement. Today, Navistar produces international brand military vehicles through its affiliate Navistar Defense. 1986 to 1991, transition from agricultural roots. International Harvester fell on hard times during the poor agricultural economy in the early to mid-1980s and the effects of a long strike with the UAW over proposed work rule changes. IH's new CEO, Donald Lennox, directed the management organization to begin exiting many of its IH's historical business sectors in an effort to survive. Some of the sales of profitable business endeavors were executed to raise cash for short-term survival, while other divisions were sold due to lack of immediate profitability. During this period of questionable economic survival, in an effort to raise needed cash and to reduce losses, the management team led by Mr. Lennox at IH shed many of its operating divisions, Construction Equipment Division to Dresser Industries, Solar Division to Caterpillar, Cub Cadet to MTD Products and, lastly, the Agricultural Division to Tenneco, which merged it with their JIK subsidiary. The Scout and Light Truck Parts business was sold to Scout Light Line Distributors, Incorporated in 1991. After the Agricultural Division sale in 1985, all that remained of IH was the truck and engine divisions. The company changed its name in 1986 to Navistar International Corporation in the early 1980s. IH developed a series of reliable large displacement V8 diesel engines that were sold as an option for heavy-duty Ford 3/4 ton and 1 ton pickup trucks. Navistar still uses the International brand in its diesel engine and truck product lines, and the brand name continues on in product lines of Navistar International's International Truck and Engine Corporation subsidiary. 1990s Early 2000s, rediversification. During the 1980s and 1990s, the popularity of diesel engines had made Navistar a leading manufacturer of bus chassis, particularly school buses. The company purchased 1/3 of American Transportation Corporation, an Arkansas-based manufacturer in 1991, and the remaining 2/3 in April 1995. By becoming both a body and chassis manufacturer at the same time, Navistar gained significant market share in the industry. In 2002, Amtran was rebranded as IC after a few months as International Truck and Bus. After nearly a century of business in Chicago, Navistar announced its plans on September 30, 2000 to leave the city and relocate its corporate offices to west suburban Warrenville, Illinois. The company's Melrose Park, Illinois plant is notable for a significant workplace shooting on February 5, 2001. In 2004, Navistar re-entered the retail vehicle market for the first time since 1980. The International XT pickup truck was a series of 3 pickup trucks. It was the largest pickup truck available for retail sale, and two of the three versions were essentially international Durastar medium-duty trucks fitted with pickup beds. The third version was essentially a street-legal version of a Navistar-designed military vehicle. The 3XT trucks were sold until 2008. In 2005, Navistar purchased the Workhorse company, a manufacturer of step van and motorhome chassis, to seemingly re-enter the delivery van market. It appeared that the new subsidiary might also benefit by its association with a company whose history from the 1930s into the 60s included the popular Metro van. For a short time, Workhorse offered an integrated chassis body product called MetroStar. In September of 2012, Navistar announced the shutdown of Workhorse and the closure of the plant in Union City, Indiana in order to cut costs. 2006 to 2008, accounting issue. In January 2006, the company declared it would not file its Form 10-K annual report with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on time. The delay was caused by a disagreement with its auditors, Deloitte and Touche, over complex accounting issues. In April, Navistar fired Deloitte, its independent auditor for 98 years, and hired KPMG to help restate earnings back to 2002 to fix accounting errors. On December 15, 2006, Navistar executives announced further delay of its restatement and 2006 results. The announcement prompted the New York Stock Exchange to announce the delisting of the company, after 98 years of trading, although the New York Stock Exchange subsequently delayed the delisting pending an appeal by Navistar. However, Navistar was removed from the S&P 500 index, and the New York Stock Exchange eventually denied Navistar's appeal and delisted the stock. It traded on the pink sheets until June 30, 2008, when it was relisted on the New York Stock Exchange, under its previous ticker symbol, NAV, after catching up with its filings. Christopher Anderson, the Deloitte partner responsible for the 2003 audit, accepted a one-year suspension from public audits in 2008. And became the first individual to be fined by the PCAOB. Chief Executive Officer Daniel Ustian agreed to surrender to Navistar shares worth $1.3 million, while former Chief Financial Officer Robert C. Lannert consented to repay $1.05 million, each sum reflecting monetary bonuses they had received during the restatement period, the SEC said. 4 other company executives paid civil penalties without admitting liability. Hybrids, defense. In 2007, Navistar's International Truck and Engine Corporation became the first company to enter hybrid commercial truck production, with the International Durastar hybrid diesel-electric truck. Navistar is the prime supplier of MRAP armored vehicles to the U.S. military. The Navistar 7000 series has been fielded by the Canadian Forces for domestic operations. In 2005, the U.S. Army ordered 2,900 7000 MVs for the Afghan National Army and Iraqi Ministry of Defense, and an additional order of 7,000 was added in 2008. 2012 and non-compliant engines. In 2012, the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington voided an interim rule by the Environmental Protection Agency that had allowed Navistar to sell non-compliant engines provided it paid a fine. The court found that the U.S. agency had violated the Administrative Procedures Act in issuing the rule because it provided no formal notice or opportunity for comment. After the new emissions standards went into effect, Navistar was able to sell its non-compliant engines by relying on pollution credits it had banked previously. With those credits running out, however, Navistar faced the prospect that it would not be able to sell the engines in the U.S. The EPA rule that was struck down had allowed Navistar to sell its model year 2012 and 2013 engines while paying a fine of $1,919 on each engine. Competitors complained that the fines were far too low. The agency adopted the rule without following normal procedures that allow for public comment on proposed rules. The court said in its decision that Navistar's business plight was not a proper justification for the EPA to issue the rule without following normal administrative procedures. The rule does not stave off any imminent threat to the environment or safety or national security, Judge Janice Rogers Brown wrote for the court. It does not remedy any real emergency at all, save the emergency facing Navistar's bottom line. Navistar has since then begun providing redesigned engines that comply with environmental protections in 2013, using the widely adopted SCR technology. Brands: International Trucks. In 1986, after the transition from International Harvester to Navistar, the truck product line dropped the Harvester portion of the brand name. International produces a variety of medium-duty, over-the-road, and severe service trucks. Medium-duty: International Terra Star Class 4-5 Conventional, International City Star LCF Cab Over, International Dura Star Class 6-7 Conventional, Class 8, International Lone Star Conventional, International Pro Star Plus Conventional, International 9000 Series Conventional, International TranStar Conventional, Severe Service, International Pay Star Conventional, International Workstar Conventional, IC Bus. International has a long history in the school bus industry as a chassis provider, dating to when school buses first became motorized. In 1991, Navistar entered the school bus industry as a body manufacturer when it began its acquisition of M-Tran, an Arkansas-based company founded as Ward Body Works in 1933. Today, IC Bus produces several models of full-sized school buses along with buses for commercial use. School activity buses: AE Series Cutaway Cab Conventional, BE Series Conventional, CE Series Conventional, available in diesel-electric hybrid configuration. RE Series rear-engine transit style, commercial buses, along with commercial use derivatives of the school bus product lines. IC offers these distinct products: AC Series Cutaway Cab, HC Series Cutaway Cab, available in diesel-electric hybrid configuration. LC Series Low-Floor Cutaway Cab, motor coaches. IC Bus has introduced concept vehicles in both 40 feet and 45 feet lengths. International Harvester Navistar diesel engines. International Truck and Engine recently launched the MaxxForce brand name for its line of diesel engines. Engines were rebranded as MaxxForce followed by a number corresponding to the engine's displacement, rounded up. So the 4.5 LVT275 became the MaxxForce 5. Ford continued to use the Powerstroke brand name on their international-sourced engines. However, the new 6.7L Powerstroke is not an international-designed engine. Joint ventures: Ford Motor Company. Since the 1980s, Navistar has had a close relationship with Ford Motor Company. The relationship started out as an engine-sharing deal, but evolved into the production of entire vehicles. Ford Powerstroke diesel: as a result of the gas crises of the 1970s, big block gasoline V8 engines had begun to fall out of favor with pickup truck buyers. In the 1980s, diesel engines in American pickup trucks had become popular, as they offered the power of a big block V8 with the fuel economy of a smaller engine. Ford entered into a supply agreement with International Harvester to receive its 6.9L IDI V8 engine. The first diesel-powered Ford pickup trucks debuted for 1982. It was available for 3/4 and 1-ton models. GM at the time had a Detroit diesel V8 engine also on its debut. Prior to that, GM used a 350 diesel. Dodge started using a Cummins 6-cylinder in 1988. In 1994, when the International 7.3L IDI V8 was replaced by the T444E, the diesel option was branded Ford Powerstroke to emphasize the switch to direct injection. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Ford offered International Navistar V8 in the Ford Super Duty pickup trucks. As of 2010, the 6.4L Ford Powerstroke V8 was the last of the International Navistar diesels used in Ford's F-Series Super Duty lineup. When Ford redesigned the Super Duty in 2011, it was fitted with a 6.7L V8 designed and produced by Ford. During its first release, the Powerstroke produced 390 HP and 735 ft-lb of torque. Later in 2011, Ford tweaked the engine to deliver best-in-class 400 HP and 800 ft-lb of torque. Blue Diamond Truck. In 2001, Navistar formed a joint venture with longtime customer Ford Motor Company to manufacture medium-duty trucks and parts, including diesel engines for both parent companies. The new company, Blue Diamond Truck Company, LLC, operates in the Navistar plant in General Escobedo, Mexico. Its first products were the 2004 Ford F650 and F750 medium-duty trucks. And Jiangwei Navistar, on September 16, 2010, and Jiangwei Automobile Company, Limited announced joint ventures with NC2 Global and Navistar International Corporation that will develop, build, and market heavy-duty trucks and diesel engines in China. Mahindra Navistar. Navistar formed a joint venture with Mahindra and Mahindra to build heavy trucks in India under the Mahindra International brand, which has since been renamed Mahindra Navistar. These trucks were displayed at Auto Expo 2010 in Delhi, India. The joint venture ceased as Navistar exited the joint venture in 2013. Tatra and Navistar Defense introduced at Eurocity Exposition in Paris, France the results of their strategic alliance since October 2009, the models ATX6 and ATX8. The vehicles appear to be based on Tatra T815-76X6, 8X8 chassis, suspension and cabins while using Navistar engines and other components. Under the deal, Navistar Defense and Tatra AS will market the vehicles in North America, which includes sales to the United States military and foreign military sales financed by the United States government. Tatra will source parts and components through Navistar Euro-1 registered trademark S Global Parts and Support Network for Tatra trucks delivered in markets outside of North America, as well as market Navistar Tatra vehicles around the world in their primary markets. Others. In 2005, Navistar purchased MWM International Motors, a Brazilian engine manufacturer formerly associated with Deutz AG. Navistar International has a contract with Budget Truck Rental to produce their rental trucks. Navistar entered into an agreement to purchase General Motors' medium-duty truck unit in 2007, but because of changing market conditions, the purchase was not concluded. Plug-in electric vehicles. Plug-in hybrid electric bus. The U.S. Department of the Energy announced the selection of Navistar Corporation for a cost-shared award of up to $10 million to develop, test, and deploy plug-in hybrid electric vehicle school buses. The project aims to deploy 60 vehicles for a 3-year period in school bus fleets across the nation. The vehicles will be capable of running in either electric-only or hybrid modes that can be recharged from standard electrical outlets. Because electricity will be their primary fuel, they will consume less petroleum than standard vehicles. To develop the PHEV school bus, Navistar will examine a range of hybrid architectures and evaluate advanced energy storage devices, with the goal of developing a vehicle with a 40-mile range. Travel beyond the range will be facilitated by a clean diesel engine capable of running on renewable fuels. The DOE funding will cover up to half of the project's cost and will be provided over 3 years, subject to annual appropriations. E-Star Electric Van. The E-Star is an all-electric van manufactured in Waukerusa, Indiana. Production began in March 2010 and first deliveries began 2 months later. The technology used in E-Star was licensed to Navistar in 2009 in a joint venture with Modec, and Navistar bought the intellectual property rights from the Modec's bankruptcy administrators in 2011. The introduction of the E-Star was supported by a $39.2 million U.S. Department of Energy stimulus grant under the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. The E-Star has a 5,100 lb payload capacity and is available with a 14 or 16-foot cargo box. The vehicle is powered by a 70 kW 102 HP electric motor powered by an 80 kWh lithium-ion battery pack supplied by A123 Systems, and also uses regenerative braking. The electric van has a range of 100 mi, and a full charge takes between 6 to 8 hours. By May 2010 the E-Star had received U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and CARB certifications. The E-Star also meets all federal motor vehicle safety standards. The first vans were delivered in May 2010 to FedEx Express for use in Los Angeles. Other customers include Pacific Gas and Electric Company, the Coca-Cola Company, and Canada Post. The E-Star has a price of $150,000. Criticism: in December 2011, the non-partisan organization Public Campaign criticized Navistar International for spending $6.31 million on lobbying and not paying any taxes during 2008 to 2010, instead getting $18 million in tax rebates, despite making a profit of $896 million and increasing executive pay by 81%. On January 31, 2005, Navistar Financial said it would restate financial statements for fiscal years 2002 and 2003 and the first 3 quarters of fiscal 2004, because it did not take into consideration potential changes to future income. On April 7, 2006, Navistar restated financial results from 2002 through 2004, and for the first 3 quarters of 2005, due to accounting practices that are the subject of a continuing review. Images, see also. International Harvester, List of International Harvester Vehicles, Odine Corporation. References. External links, Official Navistar sites, Navistar, International Trucks, MaxxForce, Navistar Financial, Navistar Defense, IC Bus, Navistar Engine Group, MWM International Motors, Navistar Electronics, Navistar Parts, Mahindra Navistar, International, Southern Africa, E-Star, TM, Electric Truck, International Used Trucks, Navistar Suppliers List.